Welcome to the Harvesting Wisdom podcast. Together we explore the vast landscapes of life, delving into the rich soil of experiences, sowing the seeds of curiosity, and harvesting the profound wisdom that each episode unfolds. Hello and welcome back again to another podcast of Harvesting Wisdom. I'm your host, Mike McMahon. Today's co-host, again, Dr. Joe Roselle, who's also the executive producer. Joe will probably be the podcast co-host on most of our travel series. This was a long trip, a 6-week trip for me. Again, one of several trips I've taken back into our projects in Africa. This podcast we're introducing is our Lukuni community that we've been in about 5 years. I know we've done so many great things and made relationships, and for me, it's a return on investment. If we can just get some of like friends of mine that are construction guys or architects or engineers or teachers who have wherewithal to just help a little bit. And I think once you go there, you feel an overwhelming sense that you can make a difference in people's lives, right? And with so little. But this particular episode is all the sites in the Lukuni area that there's 5 schools, a hospital, a printing press, and then all the community people who live there. So why don't you walk us through where we went?
Yeah, so we had some great highlights. We went to the girls' school, boys' school. They were able to show us around, show us projects. One of the highlights for me was we actually had the opportunity on the fly to we put ourselves in the location. We said, okay, we want to create a soil testing lesson with just the materials we can get here. We actually drafted the lessons. We came up with the materials. We bought them from a local store, and then we went the next day and did the soil test.
Peter and Kim did our plot of sunshine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So that was a pretty cool thing. We went to the boys' school.
Yeah.
Remember that one with the they had the tsunami hit and knocked 40% down. I look at it and I'm like, God, I could rebuild this whole thing. It's not even difficult, but there's challenges right now because there's been so much harvesting of natural resources in their forests that this country now is outlawed going in and chopping down trees, native trees. But people need those trees to cook, and they need those trees to also to do the firing of brick, which is how they build. So you need to have places to live and structures, and what they do is they take the native dirt and they make bricks. Well, we got some issues with it now. So this brings about some of the climate solutions like clean cook stoves, growing a crop like a hemp, in which you can chop it and make basically biochar, which you can grill with. You can use that same biochar if you want in the agriculture. 5% into your mix does an amazing thing about holding water and moisture. So it's a crop I really want to try to introduce over there. And there's just so many things. Once you go there, you realize how easy it could be, but how difficult it is because of resource.
Yeah, there's no infrastructure. But yeah, what you were describing, it was literally deforestation in real time.
Right.
Which is incredible to see. But honestly, the resiliency of the kids and the staff, we've actually made a lot of connections between schools in Arizona and Africa. Right. So to actually walk into that space that Kim and Peter were in and that you've been in before.
And they even do their Zoom call or whatever it is between the children here and over there. And then we went into the nuns that operate the hospital, and second largest hospital in the country. And the nuns are, wonderful people. And we sponsored a a broiler chicken farm or whatever on their property, and then they took us in for lunch. I got my birthday cake.
Yeah.
So we got some really cool footage here, and we hope you enjoy this podcast. This is our main community that we've worked with, and we're hoping to bring some guests back. Maybe we'll get a soccer field completely done. The correct way will be the first grass soccer field, football field, what they call, in the country, because there's only 2 professional fields and they've got the synthetic turf. So hopefully that's something that's coming near into the future as well. But there's no end of work we can do.
No, and you've said this hundreds of times too. We're also looking to partner with other nonprofits. So as you watch these episodes and you say, well, we do water, or we do, turf, or
Sure.
we do
Or construction materials or whatever.
We'd love to hear from you.
And some of the stuff, I'm amazed they had the big bags at the girls' school for biogas generation.
That was
so they're
incredible.
taking compost and they're putting it in these bags, and then they're firing up that gas in their cafeterias and heating water and that sort of thing. So really a great episode here. Hope you all enjoy it. Hi, this is Mike again with Harvesting Wisdom. We are at Girls Lukuni Secondary School. We have Patrick and Afrida, who are the main bosses for the whole program, and behind us are all the urban farming girls from the school. They're doing pretty amazing work. They're growing stuff. They've got the air dryer behind us. There's a lot of positive things on the campus going on. Patrick,
Yeah.
you're a little newer to the thing. Frida kind of was our first ambassador. What's your take on all this? What do you think?
Yeah, actually, this is a positive development. Students are very happy with that, and we do a lot of things here. We are growing vegetables here, and they will also grow potatoes, and we dry them when they are in excess right there in the dryer. So it's a very positive development. Sure.
Okay, Frida, you got started with it. What's your thinking? Are we moving in the right direction?
Yeah, we are moving in the right direction, and we have been privileged to have that solar dry, because most of the things, when they are in excess, they were spoiled. But now we have that solar dry, we can dry some of them and use it later in the future. With these girls, we are drying so many stuffs like sweet potatoes, vegetables, especially when they are in holiday. These ones, they remain unharvested, but we harvest during the holidays.
Okay.
Yeah, so that they can eat while the schools leave.
Yeah, because you can't, when a crop is ready, you can't eat all that much, and you get tired of eating it. But the rest of the year you don't have it unless you can dry it and store it. So why don't we take a look at the dryer and show us what's in it and how it works, and who are the main engineers? Everybody knows how to use it?
Yeah, most of them know how to use it. So here are some of the feeds.
Are those potatoes?
Yeah, sweet potatoes.
Oh, wow. Is it?
We slice these ones on Wednesday. That means it has just stayed yesterday, and today we see that they are dried.
Can I grab one?
Yeah, you can take one.
Thank you.
You can even take
So how long does it typically take to dry the potatoes?
how long?
Yeah,
About 2 days.
2 days.
Yeah.
And then you dry the Chinese cabbage too?
No, the Chinese, they are much faster.
Oh,
Even a
okay.
day, yeah.
One day.
1 day is enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then so do you grind up the potatoes too, or the Chinese cabbage,
Yeah.
or?
The Chinese cabbage we don't grind, but these potatoes can also be grinded and be made into flour.
Oh, wow.
Which we can add to maize flour to make porridge.
So porridge, do you make bread with it or anything else, or just porridge?
Also we can add it to what we call toba.
Okay.
Sweet pea.
Very cool.
This is Girls Secondary School.
Okay, Lukuni Secondary School. Lukuni Girls Secondary School. And what's your name?
Yvonne Novan.
Okay. Tell us 2 or 3 things about your school that you really like. Why do you like coming to school here?
This school teaches a lot, more like agriculture, sciences, and other humanities.
Okay. So what's your favorite class?
From 4.
Form 4? Okay. Do you have a favorite teacher?
Yes,
Who's your favorite teacher?
there are actually 2.
Okay. Is she one of them?
Yes,
Okay.
and Mr. Buddy.
Okay, why are they your favorite teachers?
They teach me agriculture, which Miss UFE teaches us agriculture, which is helping us in conducting the solar system. And Mr. Patrick teaches us chemistry, which is helping us in our
Okay.
everyday sciences.
Do you like working in the garden?
Yes, very.
Okay, tell me 1 or 2 things that you like about working in the garden.
Watering the plants.
Watering the plants? Okay, why do you like watering the plants?
Why?
Yeah.
Okay, this is because when I'm watering them, I feel like we are what? We are connected to the creation of God.
Okay, good. So you're helping to produce food. Have you tried any of the things that you're doing here at home?
Yes,
So you have a garden at home?
yes.
Okay, what do you grow at home?
We grow onions, vegetables, and maize.
So what you're learning here at school, you're actually learning, or you're actually doing at home, right?
Yes. Okay. When we are producing our worms, it happens that when we are producing them, when we have put them in the bottles, ants come and eat them. What can we do to keep away those ants?
What can they do to keep away the ants?
So there's a holistic process involved, and part of it is understanding why the ants are there to begin with. There are other plants that you can grow that ants don't like. So the idea is to find out which plants that you grow as companions, and you grow them separate from, you grow them where the ants are, next to the plants you're growing. That's a big way to help. But keep in mind, the ants are doing something similar that the worms are doing. They're going into the soil and they're creating holes that water can go in and oxygen can go in. So there's a relationship with the ants that actually helps grow some of the plants too. But are the ants biting you and you?
No.
Oh no. Okay.
They're stealing your food, right?
Are they eating all the food? Are they causing holes in the food?
They are eating the worms.
She's talking much about vermicompost.
Oh, vermicompost, is it? Not ants.
Yes.
Yeah, vermicompost, there are worms in the vermicompost container are getting eaten up by the ants.
Oh, the
That's
ants are
compost.
coming
Is that right?
into the worms.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's a different story entirely. What we'll have to do is come up with a foliar or a liquid manure that the ants don't like. So we're going to find some plants. We can turn them into a liquid, and we can put that in with the worms. We need something the worms like, but the ants don't like. That's the best way to do it. But yeah, you've got a lot of biology in the soil. So some things are working with you and some things are working against you. You just have to, but the idea is as students and as anybody who's farming, you got to think about what the issue is and come up with solutions. So there's a lot of books out there to read, internet, but we'll talk specifically. And what I would do is, this is a perfect opportunity for you guys to try different things. So we created we now know there's a problem. How do we come up with the solution for that problem? You come up with it. It's something you can tell everyone that's growing and using worms in Africa. You say, hey, this is what works.
Other times I was showing us a video about growing, but it wasn't evolving like soil. So I want you to know, how does that work?
How does soil glow?
The plants grow without soil.
How do plants grow without soil? That's a good question.
Without soil.
Yeah.
Okay, so plants, when they first start, your seed is an embryo, just like a baby. And it has energy in it. It's alive. All the seed is alive. So when the seed has the right conditions, it's moist, it's planted at the right time of the year, The seed will have a root that comes out, and it'll have a stem that comes out. The stem becomes the plant, that single root becomes the root system. That's how the plants get started. If you don't have good soil, if you have really hard soil, this is a lot of clay in this soil, sometimes the roots get stopped or stunted, and then your plant doesn't grow that well. It doesn't get that big. That's why we add a compost in there, and we try to change the texture of your soil. And we have a jar test that you guys are going to learn how to do. And it's going to tell us what your soil is. How much is clay, how much is sand, and how much is organic material and silt. And so by knowing what your soil has in it, you can figure out ways to fix that soil. You've got all the resources here to fix it, whether it's compost or it's wood chips or it's blending in a mineral like a gypsum. Really easy stuff that doesn't cost that much money, but it makes a big change. So when your plants are actually growing, if they're growing using what we call industrial agriculture, which is what a lot of the world is growing with, they're taking chemicals that were made, they're made from petrochemicals or they've been synthesized, and those chemicals have the main ingredients that a plant needs. Those ingredients are macronutrients, so nitrogen, so it's an NPK, okay? And a lot of farming goes on where the soil's not very good, but what they do is they put that chemical in, and that helps that plant grow. The problem is those chemicals aren't as nutritious as the soil itself, because your soil has all kinds of nutrients in it. So if you're growing organically or you're growing sustainably, you're growing a better plant. It's going to taste better, it's going to grow better, but it's part of a system. And with farming, quite often something goes wrong. You have a crop that goes bad, you get ants that kill your worms, there's a lot of different things, but the idea is the more practice and experience you have, you start learning about how to have solutions for each one of those issues. I don't know if that helped. What I wanted to talk to you guys about is the International Board of Trustees that we're setting up now, because now we're setting ourselves up as an NGO here, and we have to go through more formal stuff. And but we're bringing lots of different people in from the community. So we will have someone from the Ministry of Education, hopefully on the board. Ernest, of course, he's our man on the ground, but we want at least one or two people from each of the schools that are here, which is, you guys have kind of been the one we've been involved with the most, and you've been kind of the leaders. We also have the boys who are a really good workforce because they're older, they're mature, and they're more educated than the little ones, but they're becoming really good leaders.
Yes.
And so, yeah, we absolutely want you guys represented on that because you're a big part of it. But these issues you're talking about, these are the things we have to come up with solutions to solve some of the things. But it is this whole secular thing. You start with chickens. Well, the chickens need to be fed, and then you have to have a facility like this. You guys did a pretty good job now. The first couple of years we we struggled with our chicken operation, but it was somewhat successful. But the beautiful thing about what we're talking about is that these are kind of one-time investments that we're making that allow people to run their little business. We are talking about having some girls and some boys that will fund to do this themselves on their own, and it's financially very lucrative for them. It allows them to pay for their own tuition and take the burden away from their family, but also to be able to help feed their family too, because this is great protein. So it's a matter of scaling it up, but it really, to make it really work, we have to be doing the farming as well.
Yes.
You know, because it's otherwise, every time you guys are susceptible to buying at current rates and the clutch is being devalued again, it just makes it harder and harder to get things going. But the more self-reliant you are, the easier it is. Then nobody else has to be involved. So, you know, thank you all for being here today, and I'm impressed for the first time with our chickens.
Go. Where are we right now?
We are at Lukuni in Malawi,
Okay.
the capital city of Lilongwe. Yeah.
And why don't you tell us a little bit about the chicken coop project? How long have you been working on it?
Okay, I have now spent a year working here. Yeah.
And when you work, what do you do here as far as the chickens?
Okay, so we mainly raise them from their infant stage, and then we collect their dung. We provide it to the other subgroups, which is vermicomposting and the gardening. And also we use the eggs, maybe like we sell them, and also we incubate them to create other chicks. Yeah.
So what's the goal of raising chickens? Are you using it for food, or are you using it for money? Why are you raising chickens?
Okay, so we are mainly raising them for 3 reasons. We are raising them for food, we are raising them for eggs, and also for manure. Yeah.
So what skills have you learned as part of this process?
Okay, so I've learned how to vaccinate some of them. I've learned how to maybe collect the eggs without disturbing them. Yeah.
Okay, so are you using these skills at home to raise your own chickens?
Yeah, they are really helpful.
Okay, so talk to me about your operation at home. What do you do with the chickens at home? What kind of chickens do you raise?
Okay, so at home we don't raise this kind of chickens, but then because we also raise them the same way we raise here, we raise broilers, and then at least we give them vaccination. We feed them 2 times a day. We give them water for the whole day, and every day, the other morning, we wash their water troughs and feed troughs, and that's how life goes. We clean their craw when it is dirty. Yeah.
Okay, so we have an expert with us here, Mike McMahon. So is there anything that you're curious about? What are you curious about? Or have you had a problem that you haven't been able to solve? Did you want to try something different? What are you curious about with raising chickens? Do you have a question for our expert?
Okay, there are a couple of questions, of course. Firstly, some other times, maybe the chickens would die when they're somewhere to reaching mature stage, so I don't know why that happens. We have given them vaccination, but then they still die.
Yeah, well, it's just like any life, right? It's just like people in your village, your family. We're all organisms, and we all need nutrients. So the soil has nutrient. In the soil, we grow plants. We eat those plants. We also eat meat like chicken, and those nutrients go into our body. Sometimes we have a little malnutrition issue that we're not. If all you ate was SEMA every day, or candy or Coke, how long do you think you would last? Not very long.
Yeah.
You need protein, you need good carbohydrates, not just the sugar. You need legumes like beans in your diet. You need leafy vegetables in your diet. Part of what we have to do is really have you guys understand the best way to feed them. So that's usually the biggest issue we have. Sometimes it has to do with sanitary conditions, making sure that when you go in here, you're sweeping and taking the dung away on a regular basis. So there's a variety of different things. When a chick is really small, it also needs heat. So sometimes we used to have a heat system here. The local chickens are a little hardier, but that may also be part of the problem. Is in the evenings and that kind of thing. So there's a lot of different things that could go wrong, but the idea is this is always experimental. As you start doing it, every chicken that dies is a problem, right? Because if you're trying to make money on it, and that'll be the next phase for you guys, is you want the chicken herd to multiply. So we've just talked with all the teachers and the principals about this too, and a big part of what we're talking about doing is we have to be able to compost to improve the soil a little. Soil's pretty good in Malawi in general, but we want to be able to grow specific crops that can be then used to feed the chickens. The other thing is the food that the chickens eat, they can't eat like an apple, like you can eat an apple, right? Everything has to be very small. So we're at some point are going to invest in a machine that can take all the seeds and grind it up and pelletize it, which is a better chicken feed for them. So a lot of what we're talking about is nutrition. Some of it has to do with just their normal life cycle. And then, like any other living thing, there's a percentage that dies. It's just part of life, right? Everybody's here. There's a life cycle for all of us. It's the same thing with the chickens. But what's really important for you guys to do is keep track, keep records. So if you start with 100 chickens and you lose 20 of them in the process, the next year, that's 20%, right? So the next year we want to reduce that. So we look at different things that could be the problem. When you're gardening at all, and this is part of gardening, it's part of diversified farming, right? When you're doing that, what you want to be able to do is track all the things that you do, all the inputs, and be observant. So if the chickens are dying, what are we feeding them? Are they getting the right feed? Are they getting cold? Is the condition being kept sanitary? Which means moving. We want to put bedding material everywhere the chickens are, because if a chicken poops or defecates over there, that's no good. We can't capture the compost from it. So hopefully that helps answer your question. One of your questions anyway. Franciscan sisters that administrate and run the hospital, which is I think the second largest hospital in Malawi. We're at the residence where we've done a little bit of work with them, kind of a micro project. This is one of the tanks we have. See, it's been put up on a platform. Rain gutters right here, fill it up during the rain season. And then this is, what do you use this in? Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Sister Beatrice Chanshi, Franciscan Missionary Sister Basizi.
She's the big boss, in charge of the whole hospital.
We received this good donation during the rain season, the visit of Kim and Peter, Professor Peter, and it has been helpful. I just want to demonstrate. Mr. Kachule, maybe you can come. During the rain season, we dropped the bill of the water board came down, because we could harvest water and use it for the garden, for the chickens, washing the feeders, the feed, and also the drinkers, even to clean around, washing, we could use the same water. The last harvest we had is still here. So I would like to ask my colleague to demonstrate. Achikoni. Achikoni, you bring the yes, the way you do. So it has been very helpful.
How many months out of the year do you use that?
That was this February, from January, February, when was, from the last time Kim was.
Oh wow.
It was just before they went, this was mounted.
So this can more or less almost a half of the year this is usable, but I was talking with Ernest about this. We probably can dig a borehole someplace on the property.
Yes.
We have a few different pumps. She's got one, and we've got the big one at Lukuni, the boys' school. And it only has to probably be filled up every month or every 2-3 weeks. So if we do a borehole and put a fence around it so nobody walks in it, we probably can recharge that.
Thank you
so
very
that
much.
you're able
Outside,
to use it for a
outside
lot.
things.
And now you can start
Thank you
really
very
doing
much.
gardening.
Yeah, we can extend the
in
garden.
this area.
Yes,
Exactly.
it's true.
Orchards,
Yes.
whatever.
We have space this side, and here we can extend
Yeah.
the garden.
Start growing some vineyards and start competing
Just
with the
one-
Jesuits for wine.
Yeah.
Phil's telling me about the grasses. How they make a fence with the grasses. With me, I have Dave. I'll let Dave introduce himself. He's with a very important foundation here in Malawi that helps young kids. Dave's an ex-athlete, and part of the passion is to help young kids who are orphaned, but in a variety of communities in this area. But he also coordinates a lot of the sports. We're meeting today because we're looking at refurbishing this field that's behind us into a professional, high-quality, tournament-level field. The fields down below will be practice fields with steps. So, Dave, tell us a little about your foundation and what you do.
We are under Zikomo Foundation. Zikomo Foundation is an umbrella body for the Play Football Malawi, and we do a lot of work. Firstly, we do about the football. We have an academy. This called Play Football Malawi, and the Play Football Malawi is one of the best things that our president Simon Hodena established in 2030. Thereafter, we come up with other activities like Zikomo Foundation. We go to orphanage where we donate a lot of things. We have starting from the food and some materials for the baby materials. We also go to the hospital where we support the under 5 clinic, where we submit a lot of items again, and we donated some of the machines for operation machines last year. We also have schools. That schools is from the beginners, the young kids. We call it in Chichewa, we say Merampoyamba. Merampoyamba is when you plant a seed. You look for that seed to grow, and you must be careful that that bread should come out. Another thing, what we are doing, we go to the prison where we have young juveniles. Those juveniles that they have been arrested and they have bad habits now. We go there to give them courage that one day you come out from this prison. We need you this, and we go there with football activities so that they should not just say that I'm finished. There's another life after the prison. We also have we say bring the smile. Those children, they have a separated mouth. We are in partnership with Diane, where we take these children to operate them and bring, yes,
I think they call that
and
cleft palate
yes,
or
yes, and bring the smile back to them. The last thing what we do is we have a farm, a very big farm, which is about 20 hectares. I am the technical director for the football side, the play football Malawi. And we have the country director, which is Andrew Nyoni, and we have Simon Hoda, who is the president for Sikomo Foundation.
And what is you just mentioned to me you have one program called One Love. What's that all about?
Yes, One Love, we care about the elderly people. If you see these boys playing football there, where they are coming from, some of them, they are coming from a family which they cannot even have $1 per day. Now, with that, we see that we go there to make sure that we support them with materials and with food again.
So the One Love was that inspired by Bob Marley and what he did in Jamaica when he brought two warring sides together to realize there's really just one?
Yes, we are all one. Whenever you have something that you can share, we need to share to each other, because God can bless me and with a lot of things. But if I just keep those things alone, like a chicken having the eggs, you see the chicken always protect the eggs. But we are saying no, let's share what we have.
And we have a podcast, and that's what you're on right now.
Yes.
And it's called Harvesting Wisdom.
So
what we're doing is exactly what you're talking about. We're harvesting your wisdom and Simon's wisdom and your other partner, because there's things that you do well, and you're here on the ground, your boots on the ground. My past career is in building fields.
Yes.
So I know how to do that and design that. That's not a problem. And what we work with in one of the other organizations is soil. So we provide soil amendments and help farmers grow. And that's where we're using Earnest here. And the concept of one seed is exactly what we talk about. If you take a tomato seed, you grow one plant, that plant is 100 tomatoes, each tomato has 100 seeds on it. So in one season you've got 10,000 seeds, the ability to do 10,000 plants next year. It's a building process. There's a patience involved, but it's also teaming up with passionate people like yourself, who also have skill sets and wisdom that help us do that. So appreciate you being here today. Thank you for joining the Harvesting Wisdom podcast. Click subscribe and like for ongoing insightful conversations. Explore our webpage for show notes and additional resources. Visit our guests' webpage for deeper insights. Your engagement is the foundation of our journey, and until next time, keep pursuing wisdom.